Look, we got. All right, folks, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered for Monday, March 11th, 2019. Black women demand commitment from Democratic presidential candidates. But also the question is, what about resources? We'll talk about that with Melanie Campbell, President CEO of National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. She joins us right here on the set. Also, 75% of Republicans think white people face discrimination. I told y'all they ignorant. Also, a brother in Georgia goes off on elementary school officials when he lost his 5-year-old daughter for the 3rd time. Yo, wait until we play this video for you. Don't say black men don't care about their children. Wait till you see this video. And we know hashtag Trump Lives Matter. Y'all, this man is such a liar that he lied today dealing with what he said or what he called the CEO of Apple. Straight up as lied. Like, he lied about something basic. And speaking of stuck on stupid, Katrina Pierson, y'all know that baddie-ass sister who was one of his advisors during the 2016 campaign? This fool went on television and tried to compare the lack of White House staffers today by saying how many black people did Abraham Lincoln have on staff. Yeah, she did. And what the hell's in the water at Fox News? Jeanine Pirro Tucker Carlson in hot water for saying what they believe about women and Muslims. And also 8 cops roll up on a man, a brother, in Colorado. picking up trash in his front yard with guns drawn. Shockingly, he's still alive. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin on the filter. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
All right, folks, more candidates are declaring they're running for president for the Democrats in 2020. The question now becomes, how are they going to appeal to voters all across the country? We know African Americans are the most loyal Democratic constituency, but the question then becomes, what is this party going to do, not only when it comes to each campaign hiring staff, but also the resources they spend and the issues they actually focus on. Now, in April, in my hometown of Houston at Texas Southern University, women of color are going to hold a presidential forum for all the candidates, and then right now they are of course waiting to hear how many of them are going to be attending. Now, the first Democratic debate isn't until June. Then the second one is in July, but this forum is going to be critical to see one who shows up and speaks to our issues. And joining us right now is Melanie Campbell. She's president and CEO, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. Melanie, glad to have you here. So first and foremost, when we talk about the campaign, you have Julian Castro as a black woman who is his campaign chair. You've got Bernie Sanders. Nina Turner is one of his co-chairs of his campaign. Maya Harris, of course, is the campaign chair for Kamala Harris. And so how do you see the difference between this crop of candidates so far compared to what we saw in 2008 when you had a large Democratic field?
Well, I think part of it, what's happened since 2008, is that black women are stepping more boldly and challenging the system, right? And Julianne can remember this in 2007. Dr. Hite was still with us, right? And we sat down with the campaigns, right, and started challenging the campaigns. We know we have to challenge the candidates, but we sat down in 2007 right there in the CNW's basement and met with those campaigns to ask them what they were doing, how they were dealing with who they were hiring, dealing with the vendors, started asking those hard questions. Then we followed up with getting the candidates to fill out the presidential questionnaire on issues that were important to black women. We did that in 8, and we did it again in 12 and 16, so that you have some information from these candidates. We know there are going to be debates. We all try to engage in those, but we want to have something in writing from those candidates. Some old-fashioned stuff is still okay to do, and that's put in writing. What are you going to do? What is your stance before we even get to the primaries?
But it's not even just even when we talk about the individual candidates. When Power Pack did their analysis on the resources being provided by the Democratic constituencies. When you looked at the Democratic National Committee, when you look at the DCCC, DSCC, when you look at Democratic Governors Association, a paltry amount of money spent on African Americans.
Right,
we have now seen after Doug Jones' race in Alabama, even how close Mike Espy came. When you look at, of course, the midterms as well, what black people are also saying is, where are the dollars? Not the last weekend in October.
Exactly.
Where are the early dollars? And not just investing on the ground, but also those black firms. The reality is black people can do campaign commercials, radio and television, and black people can be political consultants. They can be pollsters. And so that's also what I keep hearing as well to Democrats and Emily's List and the environmental groups
and all
these PACs.
System.
Where is the money for black people.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the question. So if I've moved a little fast, I'm not saying we're not going to do what we started doing when we started asking those kinds of questions, but we also have to come together around that. Those who have, so that we know what's not happening. Some of that you did very well when it comes to even understanding what money is being spent or not being spent on black newspapers, in black, in radio, in urban radio. Where are those dollars? We have to ask those questions early. So for us, we have the summit coming up, as you well know, this week. So we're going to be working to develop what we're going to be asking. We're having a national town hall. Thank you so much for being able to be helping us to cover that, to talk about what we want as black women from this 2020 campaign, and then lay that out. So we want to get our questionnaire out. We want to have those meetings now before we know who the candidate's going to be.
And again,
the process has already started that goes well beyond which candidate is going to be the nominee. And I'm saying we're going to ask on both sides. I'm nonpartisan, so I'm not saying only one, but the reality is we still, a lot of where we are is where we are. So we have to ask those questions and have some information around that and share that knowledge with each other to know what questions to ask.
Melanie, one of the things that we have seen really over the last, again, I go back to after 2016, where black folks said, okay, we're not going to make the same mistake again by waiting. We're not going to wait to see what the campaigns do. We're not going to wait to see what the party infrastructure does, making these demands early. And so coming out 2016, when the survey was done, where there was a 10-point drop among black women
11
identifying as Democrats, that caught the attention, obviously, of Tom Perez, who was the chair of the Democratic National Committee. And then you began to hear more people saying, okay, no. We are not going to wait for you to finally wake up. You are going to have to do some things. And so a lot of people really focused in 2017 and then 2018. And now here we're in 2019 because folks want to be in position when people begin to vote in 2020.
And I'm saying yes. And so we have not just myself, but many black women who are in leadership roles that are out here working, who help bring that blue wave. Some of them are partisan, as well as nonpartisan. There's no such thing as saying blue and nonpartisan, but we just happened to push that vote and it happened to go the way it went. So I think for us, and especially over these next few days, being able to lay out some of those strategies. Part of what we're doing at our Women of Power Summit is laying out some of those strategies, organizing around what we need to do to leverage our power and deal with challenging those parties to deal with who they're hiring, all those things that are happening. Because like I say, the 2020 election is right now, and we have to come together enough to also be able to share the knowledge with each other and push the envelope. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're really laying out those days. We're going on Capitol Hill for a couple of days, obviously, to push on with the 116th Congress, but we're spending the other two or 3 days is really going deep about organizing around not just the issues, but organizing. 2020 is a challenge because we also have the 2020 decennial census happening in the same time as the primary as well.
So your summit begins Thursday.
It's this Thursday.
Kick off with a news conference. We'll be live streaming that, and then stuff on Friday as well, going to Capitol Hill. Then you're having events Saturday, Sunday. Saturday we're taking some time because as organizers and leaders we have to take care of us. So spending a day on what we call It's All About You Day, spending some time dealing with being able to take care of our health, take care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. So we're spending that day. We have conversations going on Sunday. Our movement has still always been grounded in faith. We'll be having that interfaith service on Sunday morning, and then spending some time with some sisters who are coming from across the globe. We have a tune in from sisters from Kenya. We're using technology, so we're actually having a conversation with sisters from Kenya, as well as the UN ambassador for the African Union, so they'll have global empowerment conversations going on, because our politics is not just local, but it's also global, and being able to engage on that, and then spending the day with our organizing all day around organizing and having sessions about how to leverage around issues, what we need to be doing around the election, around 2020, and then closing out, one of our speakers will be Dr. Julianne Malveaux, who's going to bring it
at the National Town Hall on Monday night. And then closing out, just spending some culture time. So we have delegations coming from over 20 states who will be here. And we also have a track with girls. We're spending time mentoring girls. They're going on the Hill with us. They're trying to learn the process, and we make that a priority.
Is it too late for folks to register?
It is not too late. They can register online up until Wednesday, 11:59, and they can come on we'll be at the Renaissance Washington Hotel. But if they Google 2019 Black Women's Roundtable Summit, it'll pop up, tell them what to do, and we're going to be here from Thursday till Tuesday.
Again, folks, let's introduce our panel: Michael Brown, former vice chair at DNC; Julia Mavo, economist, president emerita of Bennett College; also Eugene Craig Organizations. I want to go to you first, though, Michael, because again, as somebody who worked inside of the DNC, who understands where these dollars are going, the decisions they are making. How critically important is it for Black folks to say, look, you need our votes. You cannot win without Black folks. You had a 2.4% decrease in Black folks who voted in 2016, and that made a huge difference in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania as well. And so talk to us about the impact of these external forces, the impact it has on the internal dynamics of the DNC.
It's several-fold, and obviously it takes a lot to unpack that question. First of all, when you start with the premise that Black women have been the backbone of the Democratic Party for decades, and whether folks think Black women have been rewarded or not, it's not necessarily the question. The question is how do you get a seat at the table? Yeah. And when you have the seat at the table, does your advice get listened to? And a lot of it has to do with leadership. When my father was chair, he made sure people had a seat at the table, but not just seat at the table, but also got a check and got resources. Yep. And so it's the leadership that has to make sure that folks have earned their seat at the table. The question now is what happens when you walk out of that conference room? Are you walking out with resources so you can go back to your constituency groups and say the DNC has given us the resources, now we have to step up? And when that happens, clearly, then you can have the kind of hopeful. I know you're nonpartisan, but hopefully.
But at one time I was partisan, and I remember what the difference when I was partisan when your father led the DNC.
But and again, though, Julia, so even though Melody's group is nonpartisan, you do have partisan groups who are applying that level of pressure to the Democratic Party when it comes to resources, because at the end of the day. Historically, what has happened is, and we saw criticism in 2016, where Hillary's campaign they were paying white staffers, but wanting Black folks to volunteer. And people like Congresswoman Marsha Fudge is like, yo, I'm sorry, you can't keep asking our folks to volunteer for free, and they get paid. Yep.
Not only that, I mean, the thing with the minority media, with Black media in particular, the Black press did not get the kind of ads that it should have gotten. Black radio didn't get the kind of ads it should have gotten. And I think, however, what Melanie is onto something. There is tremendous momentum among Black women now. With 2 or 3 new groups, Higher Heights,
exactly.
new PACs that younger sisters have stepped up and dealt with. Not only that, I think that the book for colored girls who've considered politics, the book that Mignon, Donna Brazile, Leah Daltrey, and Yolanda Caraway did, raised a lot of awareness. And the book is just a beautiful book, chock full of political advice for younger folks who are thinking about running for office. So I think with the national tour they've done and the exposure they've had, now nominated for NAACP Image Award. With that going on, you just have more visibility towards what Black women are doing. Not to mention what happened in Alabama, not to mention these new women who are in Congress and the push that they have. So we have more sway, but the issue is whether or not we use it. People need to stop telling these younger sisters, AOC included, Ilhan, those, to behave. Well-behaved women never get anything. So people talk about they need to be more circumspect with their attitudes toward Pelosi. No, Pelosi's a big girl. She can take it. There has to be enough dissension in the party for Black women to feel that we're not being rolled over.
Eugene, at the end of the day, it comes down to pressure bust pipes. Yep. And what you have seen is Black folks on the ground saying, we know how to turn people out. You can't just somehow walk into these communities and think you send some white kids with a clipboard or a PDA and an iPad that's going to do it. No, you have to have people who understand how to reach those folks who are hard to reach. That's really what also this is about.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is this. My philosophy has always been You treat black voters the same way you treat any other constituency group. On our side of the aisle, they'll send, the gun rights activists in to rally up the gun rights activists and put real resources behind them. Well, you want black votes, you do the same thing. I think, I'm a believer that, the black vote should be competed for, that both parties should compete for, and I know our side does a piss poor job of it. But I think going forward that look, black women are leading the charge here. They're saving our country a couple cycles now, and they should. We need to be not rewarded but respected.
All right, folks, let's talk about our second story here. Poor white folks. What the hell's wrong with them? According to a poll by the Hill newspaper, 62% of them felt that white people had to deal with discrimination. The number jumped to 75% of Republicans. This is a result of the persistent and false media narrative that black and brown people get all these goodies from the government while white people do not. What? See, this is what just I keep laughing at this whole idea that they actually think they are being discriminated against.
It's because they don't read, Roland. I mean, if you read anything about wealth disparities, you know what the ratio is. If you look at the unemployment rate, black unemployment rate, twice the white unemployment rate, you know what the ratio is. But the problem with white Republicans, and I might just extend that to white people in general, is that they're ignorant. And they're ignorant of history, ignorant of reality, just ignorant. I mean, you cannot make chicken salad out of chicken spit. Ignorance is pure ignorance, and this is what we have here is ignorance, and it wasn't spit.
The bigger issue is that there is a extremely strong, now poll-tested majority of white conservatives that want to be victims. Now, there's a comfort and calm and victimhood, and so for them is, oh my gosh, they're discriminating against us and viewpoint discrimination on campus. Then it becomes, the black and brown people are getting all the attention in the workplace. Because look, there's actual. Oh yeah, that's what the poll just said. That's what the poll. That's their thought process.
They really believe that.
And they really honestly believe it.
And Melody, what we have here, we also have conservative media who tries to drive home this particular point, as if somehow these white folks aren't benefiting from. I love it when they use government handouts. I mean, when you talk about $12 billion going to Iowa farmers because Trump screwed up the whole tariff deal, that's government handouts. I'm sorry, they're called subsidies.
No.
I mean, and people use that excuse. And that to me, what those polls, because there's always a difference in race, what we think versus what they think. And at the end of the day, it's still about race. At the end of the day, it's still about privilege of being able to say, we want to be the top of everything. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you can spend the time, what's happening or not happening in your own household. Mm-hmm. And so, to me, I tell my white girlfriends, go talk to your cousins. I know you're not doing it, but go talk to your cousins. Find out why and try to figure out what they need to do. We got this over here with black folks, and part of the progressive movement that is a consistent challenge is that we'll spend time trying to convince us. We got us. You just need to put the resources, and we have to resource ourselves as well. But at the end of the day, those polls, I go, well, yeah, what else is new? What else is new? Every election cycle in recent history and beyond, we see that white women will continuously vote the way they vote. And I stopped telling them after 2010 that they're voting against their interests. Their interest is white privilege. Their interest is white women want to continue to have that privilege, and so within their household, that's what it is about.
Michael, what you're dealing with here is these are the buttons Trump is also pushing. And they are falling for the okie doke, not realizing how they're getting played, and also their children also. We have polling data that shows that these white millennials are also believing that discrimination against white folks is just as bad as against black folks.
And what's happening is probably happening in the households, because going back to the white women vote issue, the husband's saying, you have to do what I need you to do. This is for us. It's making sure our future, our family. And that's what's kind of transcending everything. And they're playing the card. They're playing the card that they have, because they're running out of cards. As the demographics
no, they're running out of people.
Change, running out of people. That's what I mean.
They're running out of white babies.
The demographics continue to change. They're playing the cards they have left.
All right, Melanie, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And look, we'll give the website again, and people can register for the conference.
Just go to ncbcp.org, ncbcp.org, or just Google Black Women's Roundtable Summit. It'll pop up.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, folks, who says black fathers do not defend their children? check this video out of Georgia, where this black father was not at all happy when for the third time the school year, the school lost track of his 5-year-old daughter.
That's transportation. That's a separate.
It was a teacher that told him.
Y'all allow these buses to come pick these kids up, therefore you're responsible.
No, sir. When
You're
they
responsible
get on the bus,
when
they
you
decide if they can
no.
keep them or
I
not.
release my child to get on your bus to come to your school. Until my child makes it home through my door, you're responsible for my child, not me.
No.
You are. Until my child reaches back
I'm gonna
down.
let you handle it 'cause I
Until
feel
my
fine
child
about
reaches
that.
back down where I live, you're responsible for my child getting home.
We can keep it going.
No, I don't care. Y'all didn't care nothing about my kid when she was missing for 3 times. This is the 3rd time. And you want to talk to me about somebody else's kid and you ain't care about mine?
I understand you.
Don't ask me to be calm. Don't patronize me. Don't chastise me. Don't do it. And you doing it now. So stop. Because it's the 3rd time. I don't care about nobody else's kid out there. And you know what? They need to hear this so they understand what y'all trying to cover up. That y'all losing people's kids.
What's going on?
What you can hear what's going on. You want to know what's going on? Step your ass in here.
Sorry.
That's what you can do. Step in here. The 3rd time that my daughter has been lost. Do you want to talk? Because we can talk. Step in.
Let's go back.
No, we're not going nowhere. We're going to stand right here.
Let me write something down. What you want to share with us?
It ain't nothing for you to write down. What you want to write down? What you want to write down?
This is the first.
But this is my 3rd time though. Understand that as a father. This is my 3rd time that y'all have lost my 5-year-old daughter, my baby. This is the 3rd time y'all lost her.
And
my son called me from the bus crying, wondering where his damn sister is. This is the 3rd time.
And it's crazy that ain't none of y'all heard about this.
Right.
This has happened
And the
3 times.
2nd time, y'all tell me that if we don't come get her by 4 o'clock, y'all ain't responsible for her.
That's what the lady who sits right there said to me. She said that there's a teacher's party at 4 o'clock, and so after 4 o'clock, she's not responsible for my child because she has to go to a teacher's party.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm going to apologize for that. I was off campus yesterday. That's why.
He said that he was on the bus just a minute ago. He was screaming and crying and telling the bus driver, don't pull off. I need to get off the bus because I'm not allowed to leave.
Step your ass in here. Tristan King was angry at the staff of Norton Elementary School in Snellville, Georgia, 45 minutes northeast of Atlanta. The school has apologized. Y'all, my man was having none of it.
Every ounce of the smoke, as he should, as a dad. You know, black dads matter, and you know that what you lose a kid once, you know, might be a mistake. You lose a kid 3 times or something systemic. I'm shocked he wasn't there swinging already.
You know, I mean, they're just lucky it's not my kid. You know, I mean, he was mild. Yeah, I would turn this thing out because it's ridiculous. A 5-year-old baby. She's a little baby. She's not a teenager who can find her way home. No. And her little brother is saying, or her brother is saying, where's my sister? All the bus driver had to do was stop. All the bus driver, let the boy have 2 minutes to run into school, see where his sister is. He knows where her classroom is.
Well, also, look, I mean, schools have processes.
Yep.
Who's supposed to be on the school? It's a checkoff list you actually go through. And for there to be a 3rd time, I mean, that's a fundamental problem, Michael. But and this is the thing that people need, you know, I had flashbacks watching this because it reminded me when I was in middle school and a teacher had me searched for drugs. And so when I got home and told my dad what happened, he said, go get the white pages and call the school and ask for Mr. Broussard and made it perfectly clear. He said, by tomorrow, when my son comes home, I expect him to tell me that she's apologized. If not, you will see me 15 minutes after he walks in the door. And Ms. Hart apologized, his white teacher, 8th grade reading class, the next day. Dad's like, no, you are not going to sit here and check my son for drugs. And so I grew up with a dad who got in teacher's ass, but also mine when I was wrong, who didn't play.
Well, I was, and thank goodness, I think we all had dads like that. But I'm proud of him for doing what he did. And there are millions of black dads like that in America. And I'm glad he stood up. Hopefully other people watch that. Because you got to stand up for your rights for your children. You just have to. You just can't let the system just say, oh, don't worry about it. We'll get back to you. He did the right thing.
And here's the piece. He didn't. First of all, some people out there Okay, if you go in there trying to swing on folks, then your ass going to jail. That makes no sense, whatever. But it also, his daughter was sitting right there too. Okay, she was actually on the couch. And I do also think it's important for kids to see parents standing up for them when it's right. Because, see, my brother and two of my sisters were teachers, and you had some ignorant-ass parents who come to the school acting a fool. Like, my sister's a teacher. This one kid was fighting, and the mom came to school and said, well, which hand was he punching with? Because he not left-handed. And they were like... So, let's just be clear. Sometimes folks get extra when they come to the school like this, but he was absolutely in the right.
Oh, yeah.
No, he was. Not only was he in the right, I hope there's some heads roll on that. I mean, the fact that the school apologized is insufficient. It's frankly, it's been 3 times. There's something wrong with the bus driver, the bus company, somebody's contract needs to be snatched. There have to be consequences. I feel so badly for the little girl.
To that girl.
But you know, the dad, you're right. I mean, it made me feel good. It's like, okay, you know, you get a stand-up daddy like that.
That was a flashback right there. And you know the girl went to school the next day like, y'all better not let me have to call my daddy. Y'all saw what happened yesterday. Don't act the fool. I'm just letting y'all know that y'all know exactly what happened. All right, let me go to a break. We come back. We go talk about another viral video. Y'all know I got to talk about that crazy-ass white woman. What with the selfie? And the Jaguar? I ain't feeling sorry for her getting her ass munched on. I'm just letting y'all know. No sympathy at all for photographing Patty. This is Roland Martin Unfiltered. Back in a moment. Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. All right, folks. A lot of folks out there, of course, trying to get healthy and well in 2019, and for a variety of reasons. Whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to simply look better, whether you want to get all ready for beach season and have your bikini, 1-piece or 2-piece, we, of course, get ourselves together for a variety of reasons. So one of the places you, of course, can check out, folks at D-Herbs. That's right, the full body cleanse. They have 27 different cleanses that you can actually take advantage of. And the whole point of this, of course, is removing excessive food, processed foods, and fried foods out of our body in terms of, again, getting us healthy and well and giving us more energy. And so if you want to try the D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse, all you got to do is go to dherbs.com. That's dherbs.com. And use the promo code Roland for a discount when you go check out. Now, you can also call 1-866-4-D-HERBS. 1-866-4-D-HERBS. Again, the same promo code is Roland. Check out their full body cleanse. I've done it 3 different times, enjoyed it all 3 times. And so it also changes your perspective in terms of what you eat, how you eat, and also what you drink. And so again, dherbs.com or call 1-866-4-D-HERBS. And we thank D-Herbs, a black-owned company, for being a partner here with Roland Martin Unfiltered. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. Now, y'all know I created the hashtag Trump Lives Matter shortly after he won because his ass was lying from the get-go. More than 9,000 lies since he's been president. Washington Post, they keep a count of these false and misleading claims. We call them lies, but y'all, today, his lying ass really just continued. Okay, so this was the other day at the White House, y'all. Just press play.
I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple.
We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. Now, I want y'all to play it again. I want y'all to, because I'm about to read something, but y'all don't get a kick out of this, okay?
I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple.
Now, he got mocked on cable news, but also on social media. So over the weekend, he was talking to donors, and he told them, he said, Tim, cook Apple real fast. Press play.
I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple.
I didn't quite hear Cook anywhere in there. Okay? He actually said it. So he tweeted today, y'all. He tweeted today. Y'all got the tweet? Pull the tweet up, please. At a recent roundtable meeting of business executives, and long after formally introducing Tim Cook of Apple, I quickly referred to Tim plus Apple as Tim Apple as an easy way to save time and words. The fake news was disparagingly all over this, and it became yet another bad Trump story. All right, y'all, let me help y'all out. Let me thank Tim Cook of Apple. Matter of fact, hold on, let me put the timer on. I just want to see how fast this thing goes. Start. Let me thank Tim Cook of Apple. Ooh, that took 2.4 seconds. Let me do it again. Go to my iPad. Let me thank Tim Cook of Apple. Oh, damn. That's 1.98 seconds. Eugene, he really was trying to save 1.98 seconds of time. This is a lying ass. It's like, yo, just go with it. But no, y'all, I was trying to save some time because I didn't want to say Tim Cook and Apple, so I just went Tim Apple.
Listen, your president's a liar, and
he ain't my president.
Is a full believer of dying with the lie. I mean, 100% believer of dying with the lie.
My grandmother used to always say, a congenital liar will tell a lie when the truth will do. I mean, that would always be her lie. She'd tell a lie when the truth will do. What's the big deal? I misspoke. Exactly. I mean, just move on. The man really is a congenital liar.
He is afraid to be made fun of.
Yeah. Or
I don't know why. He's the funniest thing we've ever seen in the White House.
I mean, you got a guy. This is the same guy that signs Bibles, right? So when you have that kind of...
He
signs Bibles.
Down in Alabama.
He signed Bibles.
But Michael, here's the deal, though. Dog, this is real simple. You roll with it. Look, Obama made flubs. Bill Clinton did. Bush 1, Bush 2, Reagan. Every president has made a mistake. It's like, oh, how dare they make fun of me? So therefore, okay, I gotta lie about it. And yeah, I was trying to, hurry up and skip a word. So I ain't want to say Tim Cook of Apple. I just went Tim Apple.
Not with the lie.
I don't get, on this one, number 40, I call him 45, by the way. 45 on this one, this was easy. This didn't even have to require all of this and you talking about him and Saturday Night Live talking about him and being on the news. He did this himself with the tweet. All he had to do was say, my bad. Like you said, Doc. I made a mistake. I made a mistake.
But what you're dealing with here...
He could have even said, I meant to call him Tim Apple.
But here's the deal, though. This is a guy who cannot admit mistakes and who lies. And I fundamentally believe that whoever wins the Democratic nomination, this is how they must operate during the presidential debate.
Is this your... Watch this.
Trump is talking. That's a lie. He lying again. That's 4 lies he just told. No, while he's talking, while Trump is rambling, whoever's the nominee should say, lying again. Still lying. Hasn't stopped lying. They should straight interrupt him. And remember he was walking around the whole debate deal, and he was like all behind Hillary? If I'm walking, I'll be sitting there going, that was another lie you just told. I'm telling you, you got to sit here. Now, Bernie Sanders had a great line when he was asked. He said, I'm going to bring a lie detector test to a debate with Donald Trump. You got to call. See, as long as Democrats try to play this thing nice and sit here and, do the little dance. No, you got to say, yo, he's lying. Yeah. What he is saying to you right now, to the American people, he is lying to you, and he thinks you will fall for it. Because here's what it's going to do. It's going to force the moderator and the networks to have to fact check. Yep. And so when the debate is over, they're going to be like, during the debate, so-and-so's call him a lie. Well, guess what? We went back and checked, and he was lying. He wasn't. No, they're going to say he wasn't telling the truth, or he misspoke. That's what they're going to call it. That's how you deal with a liar.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. You know, the thing is going to be, you know, I love our forever floaters, and, you know, there's some situations, you know, they go low, you go high. When it comes to Trump, the only way you better beat him in 2020, when he goes low, you got to take him to the ground.
All that go high, no, you got to
the ground.
Yo, you got to punch a bully in the face.
Exactly.
Now again, though, you got some crazy people out here, y'all. Lord, have mercy, y'all. I couldn't believe we even about to talk about this. Just roll it. Just roll it.
Stupid!
Now, y'all know Katrina Pierson is a flat-out idiot. I'm talking about dumb as a bag of rocks. She worked for Trump during the 2016 campaign. That child would go on TV and would just make stuff up and just lie through her teeth. Now, she was scared to bring her behind on my show. I wonder why. So this weekend, she was on Al Sharpton's show on MSNBC, and she was asked to name an African-American who works in Trump's West Wing. Y'all, listen to what her ass said.
Because I'm not going to participate in the attempt to make this all about race. It's ridiculous. How many black people were in Abraham Lincoln's West Wing?
First of all, if you got to go back to Abe Lincoln, you really need to shop.
That's my point.
George
my point
Bush.
is, was Abraham Lincoln a racist because he didn't have a black person in the West Wing? I mean, this is insane. It's an insane discussion.
Y'all, her ass said how many black people did Abraham Lincoln have? Now, y'all do know that there were a handful of free slaves when Lincoln was president. But you know, black folks were still enslaved.
Well, you know, Roland, Frederick Douglass, who that man seems to think is still alive, he did visit the White House during the Lincoln administration on more than one occasion.
He visited.
He didn't work.
He was not there working.
No, there wouldn't be.
Not now. Now, there were some. Now, hold up. Maybe Katrina is right. There were some black people on staff at the White House.
Oh, yeah. And the West Wing.
The butler, the usher, the gardener, the maid, the cooks, the folks who laid his clothes out. Yeah. But to actually think Lincoln had some black people in his cabinet.
Well, you know, Trump fired even those folk when he took office.
Well, yeah, he did fire the first black usher in the White House. But what gets me is the folk who actually have her on, they literally take her seriously. I'm telling you right now, I would be mocking the hell out of her, Mike. The segment would have stopped right there. And it would have been like just stop sign, red light, crossing guard, come down. And I would have made her look like a damn fool.
She already looked like one of those.
No. I'm talking about I would have made her ass look like a fool.
He did eventually cut her mic.
I would have had a black giraffe right there. Right. Who can we trade her for? Because that was just a bit. The fact that she could even fix her mouth to say that.
I think what happens is they I don't even know who the theys are, 45's people, that they always feel that they're under attack. They always feel they're victims. And so they have to say whatever they can say, A, to filibuster, so they run out of time to get to a commercial break, but also they just want to say whatever because the Trump base, I'm so sick of hearing about it. Everyone had a base. Nixon had a base. Everyone had a base. I'm tired of hearing about their base. He's basically playing his base for dum-dums. Yeah. Because anything he or his allies say, he thinks they'll believe. And because of that, we get into the situation like with her.
And they will. But one thing I must say in recognition of Women's History Month is that Mary Todd Lincoln did have an African-American woman, Elizabeth, I forget her last name now, but who was her tailor, her seamstress. And that is ingermane to that point. But the fact is that Lincoln was somewhat open to our participation. This one was, and they were best friends after Lincoln died. But this little girl here, and I say little girl because I don't have any respect for that level of ignorance. I mean, that is beyond ignorance.
I can't. And Eugene, And the question is, who's in the West Wing?
Who's in the West Wing? Who's an executive at Trump?
But the reality is,
who's in the decision-making capacity in the campaign side? Hell, who do we have at the RNC right now? Nobody. I mean, there's a coordinator, but as it stands right now, there are no black Republicans in decision-making position when it comes to the Trump apparatus.
Period. But he loves the blacks.
He loves the blacks.
He loves the blacks.
Especially his own blacks.
And he cares so much about us. I can't wait to find.
But blacks love him too.
Right. I can't. But y'all know the unemployment rate has gone up 4 consecutive months with black people, and we haven't heard any mention of that. But he loves the blacks. You know what's going to be next? A video of him signing a black Bible. All right, y'all. I got to go to a break. We'll be back with Roland Martin Unfiltered in just a moment.
Stand on your own 2 feet and fight like hell for your place in the world. Nationalist leader Amy Jacques Garvey.
All right, folks, HBCU Giving Day. Our school of the day is Meharry Medical College, founded in 1876 in Nashville, Tennessee. It, of course, trains more black doctors than anybody else in the country. Notable alumni includes Hastings Banda, Conrad Murray, Robert Walter Johnson, Dorothy Lavinia Brown, Lester G. Jackson, and many more. If you want to support Meharry, go to www.home.mmc.edu, home.mmc.edu. Or if you want to support another HBCU that is great, we simply want you to be sure to provide the resources to them. All right, folks, calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 to implement the proposal. Julianne, be able to make sure Bennett is applying for that. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. March 31st, 2019. So that's 20 days from now. Go to FGB.Life, FGB.Life for more information and to apply. Remember, Ford goes further in our community. We certainly thank them for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right, folks, here's some follow-ups to a story that we covered last week. We told you about a young black girl's body that was found in a duffel bag off of a hiking trail in Los Angeles County. Well, on Sunday, police identified the young girl as 9-year-old Trinity Love Jones. 2 persons of interest were detained in connection to Jones's death, and the investigation is ongoing. The coroner's office confirmed her death to be a homicide, but withheld the cause of death. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Also, the black woman in Columbus, Ohio, Amber Evans, is still missing. It is now more than 40 days since she has been missing. She's an activist there in Columbus. She's 28 years old, 5'5", weighing 122 pounds. If you have any information regarding her disappearance, contact the Columbus Police Department at 614-645-4624, 614-645-4624. All right, folks, the crazies at Fox News are trying to take advantage of the Democrats in the House, trying to find the appropriate response to comments by Congresswoman Ilhan Omar about Israel's power in the United States. Here's what that crazy bat, Jeanine Pirro, said on her show on Saturday about Omar.
This is not who your party is. Your party is not anti-Israel. She is. Think about this. She's not getting this anti-Israel sentiment doctrine from the Democrat Party. So if it's not rooted in the party, where is she getting it from? Think about it. Omar wears a hijab, which according to the Quran 33:59 tells women to cover so they won't get molested. Is her adherence to this Islamic doctrine indicative of her adherence to Sharia law, which in itself is antithetical to the United States Constitution?
Folks, her crazy rant was even too much for Trump TV. Fox News issued this public rebuke of Pirro. We strongly condemn Jeanine Pirro's comments about Representative Ilhan Omar. They do not reflect those of the network, and we have addressed the matter with her directly. But what was interesting is that there was a Muslim who was a producer for Brett Baer's show who tweeted Pirro and said, who objects to what you had to say? Me, a Muslim who works here at Fox News. The question is, what did they say to her by addressing it directly? Okay, what's going to happen? Yeah, we know what that. Now we also, of course, have the crazy nonsense coming from Tucker Carlson. Now, we all know he's a nut, him and his bow tie wearing self, the one who's afraid to have me on his show. Now, he'll book a whole bunch of black people who come on my show, but he's somehow scared of this brother. Now, Media Matters for America found some audio of Tucker Carlson talking to shock jock Bubba the Love Sponge show in 2006, between 2006 and 2011. In those clips, Carlson appears to defend statutory rape, made a lewd comment about underage girls, and labeled Britney Spears and Paris Hilton the biggest white whores in America.
Jesus.
Here's Tucker.
You know what, in my brief experience, you know what gets women going is arguing with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Brad, I never use that.
It's true. You debate politics with a woman and just go, just full-blown out there, especially feminism. If you're talking to a feminist and she's giving you, men really need to be more sensitive and this, actually men don't need to be more sensitive. You just need to be quiet and kind of do what you're told.
And lighten up a little bit, bitch.
They love it. I love women, but they're extremely primitive. They're basic. They're not that hard to understand.
Oh, now Tucker Carlson, of course, released this response, this statement, as a result of what Media Matters had to say. Quote, Media Matters caught me saying something naughty on a radio show more than a decade ago. Rather than express the usual ritual contrition, how about this? I'm on television every weeknight live for an hour. If you want to know what I think, you can watch. Anyone who disagrees with my views is welcome to come on and explain why. Really, Tucker? Now, Media Matters says there will be more audio tomorrow, this time Tucker's comments on race and ethnicity. But let me address, if you will, for a second, the comments of Judge Jeanine as well as Tucker Carlson. I'm going to deal with Judge Jeanine first. Folks, what you are dealing with here literally is somebody who needs to be in the NFL concussion protocol program. Because what she's trying to do is, and game recognized game, what she's trying to do is she is trying to assume the mantle of Bill O'Reilly. She wants to say wild and crazy things because, frankly, between all of the people who are on Fox News and Fox Business, there's a whole bunch of wild and crazy people who say stuff. I mean, you've got Laura Ingraham. I mean, you've got, of course, Sean Hannity. You've got Tucker Carlson. You've got the nut Lou Dobbs, who used to be a smart guy. I think he had a lobotomy. And so he says wild stuff. I mean, so what you have now is Jeanine Pirro. You got Jesse B. Waters, who can't seem to figure out the difference between Gayle King and Robin Roberts. So you have all of these madness that's going on. And so Pirro is desperately trying to be the source of attention. Now, what's interesting is that you have these people who attack her for wearing a hijab. But here's the piece. Yarmulke, what? Is that okay? I'm just saying. So what's the difference here? What you have here is Islamophobia. What you have here are people who want to attack Muslims, who want to say they are not like us. Now, tell that to the Muslims who are fighting in the U.S. military. Tell that to the Muslims who are police officers. I thought Fox News loved the military, and they love first responders. Tell that to the Muslims who are EMT workers. Tell it to the Muslims who are trying to secure America's safety. But see, that's a little too much for them because they can't tolerate that, because they are about speaking to a base, their viewership, who are old white people. And old white people are still living in 1950s and 1960s America. That's the world that they want. Now let's deal with Tucker Carlson. Now, here's a guy who, on his very show, condemns Samantha Bee when she used the C word in response to Ivanka. I believe it was Ivanka, or it was Sarah Sanders, one of them. Yet Tucker went on his show and condemned her for using the C word, yet he used the exact same word about women in this interview. Can we say hypocrite? This is the same guy who often will show video of other individuals and comments that they made years ago. In fact, just last week, he was showing video of comments that Joe Biden made about the crime bill and about busing and brought it up. But now he says, I was saying things that were naughty. Really? See, here's the real deal here, folks. Tucker Carlson is a white guy with no talent who has been able to make millions of dollars operating in Washington, D.C. circles because he is deemed to be smart and erudite and somebody who has a different point of view. See, that's how this whole incestuous game keeps playing. See, his Daily Caller website is a 501c3. They get funded by folks as well. That's what he was doing before he went to Fox News. This is also the guy, y'all, who had a show on CNN, got fired. He had a show got canceled. He had a show on MSNBC, got canceled. He had a show on PBS that got canceled. Then he got the Fox and Friends job on the weekend. And then, of course, when Bill O'Reilly was run out because he was sitting here sexually harassing women, then he got the weekday job. Can you please show me somebody black who's had not one, not two, but 3 shows get canceled and they still get another job? Yep. That's who Tucker Carlson is. And so what you have to understand is this is the game of white privilege. And so Tucker wants to say, I was being naughty, as opposed to, no, actually, that's how it's feeling. Now, I love this here. They say, oh, you're pulling up comments made to a shock jock. Well, just because you are a shock jock doesn't mean that you cannot still not be respectful. See, that was the same excuse they used with Donald Trump when he went on Howard Stern's show and made his comments as well. You need to understand the game here. You have Fox anchors who want to hold other people accountable for their comments in the past, but they don't want to be held accountable for their comments. And then you have the whole conservative ecosystem who is now rallying behind Tucker Carlson to back him up and say, oh, Tucky, we've got your back, and so it's okay. But I'm going to deal with that last comment. See, Tucker, you also made this comment. You said that anybody who disagreed with you can come on your show, and you know you lying. You know you lying. Because some black folks you ain't necessarily trying to debate. See, I know for a fact, Tucker, because I send an email out every single week to a variety of television bookers in networks all across the country. Your show booker is on that email. And the email says, Roland Martin, availability Monday through Friday. What cities I'm in, and if I'm available at what times. Your booker gets that email, but y'all have never called. Now, what's interesting is Donna Brazile, Monique Presley, Scott Bolden, Wendy Osefo, and others have actually brought my name up to you personally. And you said, oh, I would love to have Roland on the show. So what has happened? See, the real deal is, Tucker, white guys like you really can't handle black guys like me. Because, see, y'all actually think you're smarter than. And the problem is, it's a little rough for your ego to actually appear or to have somebody who actually is smarter than you. So here's the piece, Tucker. You're going to have to explain all of this. And then when the race and ethnicity comments come out, I want to see if you can use the naughty example as the reason for it. I don't think that one is going to fly. But you can try it, but do understand, we're going to jack you again. Because if you want to hold folks accountable, we're going to hold you accountable. Folks, speaking of holding people accountable, let's go to Colorado. Black man out here picking up trash in his yard. All of a sudden, cops, literally 8 cops, roll up on this brother for picking trash in his front yard.
We're picking up garbage. What are you doing?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 officers of the law with guns drawn.
8 officers of the law with guns drawn for picking up garbage on our property, where we live. Zayd has a clamp and a bucket, picking up garbage. He has a shotgun in his hand. Yeah, please leave.
Yeah, the whole video is about 16 minutes. The encounter began when the officer was patrolling a residential area that's considered private property. And he asked the man if he, quote, belonged there. The man was cooperative and even gave the officer his school ID. He asked the man to sit down and put down his, quote, weapon, which was a trash can, to further investigate. Now, the man refused, so the officer requested backup and pulled his gun out. That's when 8 other officers arrived, one wielding a shotgun to assist. The man who works and lives in the neighborhood had to call a supervisor to vouch for him. Officers determined the man was not a threat, had a legal right to be there and let him go. Trash in his own yard. Neither the man or the officer were identified, but the police department is investigating the incident by interviewing all officers involved in reviewing body cam footage. We're going to go to our panel real quick here. This is very simple. One of the officers actually says on the video, you know what? You likely were racially profiled. He says it on the video, Eugene.
Madness. I think this is going to be interesting. I think Governor Hickenlooper, now presidential candidate, happened in his state, needs to address it. Needs to be asked about it, needs to address it. You know, these issues and situations are not going away. The only difference is that now we have footage from all angles to cover it. And, you know, thank God that there is footage, because if there was no footage, who knows how the story would have been.
Crazy thing here is this guy, look, they could have shot him. You had a weapon. He was literally, if y'all see the whole video, go to YouTube. He was literally yelling, "It's my yard. I'm picking up trash. Are you serious?"
And so the question is, who called were the police called? Or
No. The cop was driving by.
And he just decided
he sees a black man
belong there
in a front yard and says he doesn't belong here.
You know, as you said, not only was it racial profile, here's the problem. This crap is escalating. I mean, it keeps happening. It's every day. And we don't have, you don't have enough time on your show. I'm sure you get plenty of these clips to cover all of them. But it really is dangerous for black people to be out here in so many circumstances. Just dangerous.
Right.
And especially, I mean, usually I wouldn't say this, but especially for black men. Just the black body somehow is so threatening that some man picking up garbage. I mean, what could you do more benign than picking up garbage?
Right. He's picking up trash in his yard.
He's not harassing anybody. He's not hollering. And, he's picking up trash. He's trying to be a good neighbor. He's trying to make his house look better. And these crackers, and that's crackers is the cleanest word I can use. Just stop it. I mean, how do you?
Mike, I think as black men, we're gonna have to go out in public with a straight jacket like this here.
More than likely.
Mike, go ahead.
Still the greatest country in the world, but boy, do we have a long way to go. And number 45 is doing nothing to help stop this, or at least comment. He's doing absolutely.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if 45 believes in the deterrence, I think, after the next election, there needs to be a federal mandate passed that says, look, you racially profile, you lose your police license. You violate rights, you lose your police license.
Well, again, that's what should be the case.
Or if the department's systemic, you lose your funding for a couple years.
And of course, we just saw last week where Numan Raja was convicted for killing Corey Jones, and the Police Benevolent Association president said, he was doing his job, even though he lied about it. He wasn't wearing anything that said police, and he rolled up on a guy in an unmarked white van. But they'll defend cops about anything. All right, folks, on Saturday, for the 6th consecutive year, I MC the Friendship Public Charter Schools Teacher of the Year Gala. This is the 11th year they have done it. Friendship has been around for 21 years, and they are the largest black charter management organization in the country, located right here in Washington, D.C. There were 7 teachers, of course, who were nominated for Teacher of the Year, and it was Shante Johnson who took the award home. And so every year when the Teacher of the Year wins and I MC it, I say I'm going to show the video they produced for the Teacher of the Year. And it was a great event, more than 1,000 people there celebrating teachers. They were all dressed up, black ties, celebrating teachers. And here is Shante Johnson.
Because all students learn differently, I have to be able to build those relationships with my scholars, but also find their interest. When they are little, you have to make sure that you're fun, you're exciting, you're engaging, but you have them up and moving, you're doing different songs. Those things are fun and relatable to the scholars. Thinking cap on, and I know I'm learning quickly. Hey! As you know, the superheroes, they save the day, so they like to imitate those superheroes. In the classroom, I let them know that you are a superhero too. You can save the day.
I love Ms. Johnson because she always teach me and my friends compound words. We learn college words, jovial, irate, Today I feel ecstatic.
I love the fact that they are like sponges and they can hold on to those words and be able to actually apply it.
Ms. Johnson is always asking them questions, and it forces them to become owners of their learning. It forces them to grapple with concepts because things in life don't come easy to you. And it also encourages them to want to explore and learn about the world around them.
I make sure that they have the confidence and they can persevere by making sure that when they're answering a question, they can take risks. Even if they make a mistake, they can still learn from their mistakes.
That nurturing part of Ms. Johnson kind of rubbed off on Chloe and gave her the ability to become a leader and stand out. And that's amazing. And that's what you want to see in your kid when they come home. And that's the type of progress that you want to see as a parent.
I think she understands the importance of the role parents play. And she also recognizes that it's just not about involvement, it's about engaging.
As parents, we want to be involved because we see how much she gives her students. And so we also want to give that same effort. And so it's definitely a team. I'm going to college. And I'm going to graduate.
So again, congratulations to Shantae Johnson. Now here's the deal. Over the next week, we're going to actually show the videos of the other finalists for Teacher of the Year to also give them some love as well. And so this is important because, again, we talk about education. And look, all these networks out here talk about it, but no, we're actually showing you. And this is by design, Black Teachers, a Black-run charter management organization who is doing the job. And so there's no form of education out there that I don't support, so we're all about ensuring that they get some love. And so while we showed the video earlier of the father defending his 5-year daughter being left 3 times, we also need to be showing folks, again, what great teachers are doing in the classroom. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing that. Eugene, Julianne, Michael, thank you so very much for joining us today on the panel. I want to thank all of you for watching as well. Be sure to support Roland Martin Unfiltered. There's no other show like this in America. There's no show on cable news, on broadcast news, or the digital show that's talking about the issues that you care about, giving you analysis and perspective from a Black perspective. So please go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com and please join our Bring the Funk fan club. We want you to support us, to stand with us. And in fact, Friday, we're going to be broadcasting live from Los Angeles with XQ America. XQ America, they have their National Schools Initiative. They're having an event there. We'll be broadcasting live from there as well because we also don't just talk the talk when it comes to education. We walk the walk as well. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. If you missed the show, don't forget, we restream it multiple times over the next 24 hours. But you can also go to youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And just so you understand, we started this show off in September with 170,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Today, we're approaching 282,000. So that's great growth over the past 6 months. All right, folks, I got to go. Y'all take care. Holla! You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play.